Everyone is talking of Russian ruble hitting the mark of 100 rubles for $1 American. That's a terrible national currency devaluation, I agree. But it's not what they should be talking about. Ruble plunging was predicted. It actually was obvious. It's a question of when. It was always a question of when, not if. Ruble devaluation is not what I want to talk about. It's simply a fact. It happened. I want to zero in on what has brought Russian ruble down, why the situation is so close of being out of control, and what happens next. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. What you will not find here is propaganda, BS, or lies. What you will find is truth, common sense, and logic, and emotions too, because I'm a human being. And also, today you will find lots of information on why Russian ruble is behaving naughty and being a bad, bad boy for the Russians and actually being quite a good boy for the Ukrainians. Shall we? Without further ado, let's jump right into this economic issues, things, information. If you ask any Russians of what she thinks of month of August, that's right, month of August, most likely you get two answers. The first answer will be month of August in Russia is historical time where most Russians, tens of millions of Russians take their vacations and go south all at once. It's the season, vacating season. And the second answer is that month of August is bad luck for Russia. And that's true. Almost every year, month of August brings Russia bad luck. Among, that bad luck comes in different flavors and different tastes, but it's always bad. Year after year after year, something happens, not very pleasant, something happens in August. And this year is not exception. Among other bad news, this August has brought real bad news for Russian economy. Russian currency, Russian ruble has crashed. Well, again, for the economy, it's bad if we don't consider current circumstances. The war that Russia has been waging on Ukraine is such circumstance. So this year, if you ask regular Russian about this August, they'll most likely give you an answer that it's just vacation time. And crashing ruble, many people are saying, no, that's not a big deal, We keep on living, we earn rubles, and we buy things for rubles. So we don't really care for the exchange rate. Yes, we know $1, buys you 100 rubles. That's not good, but hey, not a big deal. Well, I think that someone has put spell on many Russians because it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, and it's going to concern their lives directly very soon in a couple weeks. But at this point, I've spoken to quite a few people, and they don't realize how serious the situation is. So the answer for August will be, no big deal. Vacation time, summertime. So most Russians, again, that I've spoken to, they don't care. And me? Well, I actually think that crashing ruble is good news. You see, country's economy is the foundation of everything, including military-industrial complex. So the weaker Russian foundation is the sooner the war will be over, and the sooner the bloodshed will be stopped. So ruble devalues to 100 rubles per dollar. Bring it on. When $1 buys you 150 rubles, hey, that's even better. Because I know what's going to happen after this currency crash. The payback. Russian government, headed by Vladimir Putin, made the decision to attack Ukraine and start killing Ukrainians. But Russian citizens, voters and taxpayers silently allowed the monsters at the very top to do that by saying and doing nothing. So Russian citizens will be paying for their inaction. The payback is coming, and it's right around the corner. And this is how. Now I'm going to explain you. As usual, let's talk a little bit of theory first. What is currency exchange rate? It is the rate at which one currency is exchanged for another currency. Very simple. The exchange rate is also regarded as the value of one country's currency in relation to another currency. For example, Russian ruble versus American dollar. Each country determines the exchange rate regime that applies to its currency. For example, a currency may be floating, pegged or fixed, or a hybrid. Governments can impose certain limits and controls on exchange rates, and I'll tell you more about that, what's coming to Russia. Countries can also have strong or weak currency, and Russia has floating currency. Floating currency regime. The mechanism of exchange rate formation is closely related to the convertibility of the currency. That is, its ability to freely exchange for other currencies. In other words, market sets currency exchange rate. Demand and supply set the rate. The more ruble is demanded in Russia, the more dollars are given for ruble, and vice versa. The less ruble is demanded, the more rubles are given for dollar. But hey, enough of the theory. So what has brought Russian ruble to a very uncomfortable exchange rate of 100 rubles for one American dollar? It's actually quite complicated, but I'll try to simplify it, try to make it as easy to understand as possible. A perfect storm. Yes, in Russian economy, a perfect storm is happening. It started on February 24th, 2022, and it's way over into now, and it's going to last for a very long time. Economy of any country can be compared to household. I made that comparison before. A household has members. Some members work and earn money. Some don't. For example, mother and father go to work and earn wages. And children and retired grandparents don't work, they stay at home. Household has income that comes from earned wages and other things like dividends paid on stock owned, or perhaps household has an extra house and it rents the house out and gets extra income. A household also has expenses. Food, clothing, entertainment, travel, they all must be paid for, right? Then there are monthly debt payments such as car payment, credit card payment, mortgage payment. I hope you get the idea. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about because we're all households. Household usually balances its finances. It should stay in black and should never fall in red. When it falls in red, hopefully temporarily for a short time, and it borrows money and then repays. And that's okay as long as it's in the short time. Spending less than making is a good policy for any household. Again, country's economy is just like household. It's more complicated, but the idea is the same. And this is what has happened to Russian economy. I'm going to describe you the perfect storm I mentioned earlier. Income fell down by 50% since February 24th, 2022. Obviously, Russia is under sanctions. No one wants to buy Russian products anymore. And Russia's biggest products have been the raw materials and the hydrocarbons, the natural gas and oil. And the products the foreigners still buy have price cap, meaning Russians cannot sell it higher than a certain price. And the price is set quite low. So the income is way down. The expenses are way up. Obviously, there's war going on in Russia. Russia is waging the war. The expenses are up due to enormous, by Russian standards, of course, wages paid to Russian soldiers and officers who, volunteered to go to get mobilized and to go to the front lines. It's Russian government's carrot, so to speak. And the second huge increase is in spending for beefing military-industrial complex with money. Basically, flooding it with money. Because, Russian government needs more tanks, more missiles, more bullets, more of everything. So money is no object for that, very unfortunately. Another factor is most Western companies having left Russia, taking down jobs with them, and depleting the country of high technologies, because Russia doesn't have many own technologies. Another factor is all investors, both foreign and Russian, having left Russia. No one wants to invest into the country with incredibly volatile markets, with crazy government, unstable political situation, hello, Wagner mutiny, and international sanctions. Russia is simply toxic right now. No one wants to do anything with Russia. There are so many other decent markets out there that investors can take their money to and invest and get decent returns. Not Russia. Unfortunately, Russia is going to stay this way, very toxic for decades to come. Another factor is record number of unsecured loans that have been given out to both Russian companies and individuals, unsecured, and most likely they're going to be defaulted. Russian banks are filling Russian economy with large amounts of cash, issuing loans like there is no tomorrow. Literally. Another factor is a great deal of money, around $300 billion, have been frozen overseas due to sanctions. Imagine that. Russia had a savings account with lots of money in it, accumulated over the years of the past. And half of it, around $300 billion, has been frozen. So that's a huge blow. Another important factor of the perfect storm is Russia produces very little, as you know. It mostly imports everything, so there's very limited inflow. Very limited inflow of foreign currency. Nothing to export, nothing to sell, so no one pays you anything. And the products that you sell, mostly to China and India, you get their currency. Rupees from India and yuans from China, and you really don't know what to do with them, okay? So there's no inflow of dollars or euros, but there's a huge outflow of foreign currencies, mostly US dollars. And this is how Russia pays for things imported from China, India, Turkey, Kazakhstan, and other countries. The consumer goods, machinery, everything, food, chemicals that Russia does not produce. It pays other countries in hard currency, in US dollar. And the icing of the cake, population decrease. Millions of Russians are gone from the labor force, plain and simple. Around 3 million people have left Russia permanently, running away from Putin's regime, running away from this craziness that Russia is doing to Ukraine, to itself. And God only knows how many Russians have been mobilized since September 21st of last year and how many Russians have been killed. Plenty. So they're not in the labor force either. There is a tremendous pressure on employers to fill positions right now. And how do they do that? There's simply no people. They start offering more and more money and to the ones who remain able to work. There are also other factors, but these are that I just talked about. They are the most major factors comprising the perfect economic storm in Russia. Well, I also sometimes call it economic tsunami. It's the same thing. The above factors contribute to a very unique, badly unique economic situation. Now, listen to this. The country does not export much, import tremendously a lot, earns much less what it used to earn before, spends so much more that it used to spend before, completely isolated financially, cannot borrow money if needed, completely isolated from the rest of the world, and being filled with money pumped from the inside, from the banks that fill the pockets of the Russian people. Unsecured money need to be repaid, but in the future. For now, they just have cash. If you replace country in this situation with a household, you'd think that the head of the household is crazy, and the such household would not last for a very long time, and you'd be absolutely right, okay? That is absolutely crazy situation. So this perfect storm consumes the economy, but it can't be consumed overnight. I've heard so many times people asking, why Russian economy is going strong? Why it hasn't crashed? Why Russians aren't starving? Why there aren't shortages in the stores? Well, plain and simple. We're talking about the size of a country, a large country with huge amount of money, definitely a large amount of reserves, with some resources, as steam being sold, okay, some oil is being sold, not, making not as much profits as it used to be, but still. So Russian economy is not completely dead, okay, but that's very sick. It's feverish. It's not well. There are hundreds of millions of people with their savings, okay, there's a law of inertia, etc. That's why Russian economy is still going forward. Hey, even the Titanic did not sink instantly after it was hit by the iceberg, All of a sudden, now we get into today, all of a sudden in August, the ruble is down. And at first, it started fairly slowly being devalued in the late July. And this devaluation, ruble losing its value, it started to increase in August. Why now? Why in August? To understand, I want to invite you with me to take a look at small details that aren't talked about much. They appear very small in Russian media, in Russian propaganda. Russian politicians keep silent about that, but it's actually crucial. It's hugely important, okay? On July 14th, just before Russian ruble started falling down, Russia, read Vladimir Putin, kind of the same thing in this matter. Russia has doubled the target expenditures under the budget article defense. Well, I should really say offense, not defense, for the year of 2023, for the current year. You see, Russia already had plans to spend twice as much on defense/offense in 2023 compared to 2022. Okay? But now, 6 months of 2023 have passed, and Russian government has spent all planned money to be spent for the entire year of 2023 for this defense/offense thing, you know? So it decided to double in July to review the plan, so to speak. I'll give you the numbers now. In total, Russia spent 14.97 trillion rubles in the first 6 months of 2023. That's for everything. Of which 5.59 trillion rubles were allocated to military needs. More than 37% of all planned expenses for 6 months. At the same time, 4.98 trillion rubles were allocated for the defense budget. Thus, in the first 6 months, Russia spent 600 billion rubles more on the war that it had planned to spend for the whole year. You see, the math stops, it doesn't add up. Numbers don't add up anymore. They did, but Putin decided, hey, let's double the expenses for war, and all of a sudden the numbers don't add up. Double the plan. Where to get money? Now, again, this is not talked about. I heard it like it was tiniest, littlest news, not worthy attention. In reality, it's, on the contrary, this is huge, okay? This changes the entire Russian budget for the year 2023 and then rewrites all basically economic future of Russia. Where to get that money? We need much more money now. Well, they need much more money now. Thank goodness it's not me anymore. One sure way is to devalue ruble. You see, Russia is still exporting some oil, like I said, and it's getting dollars from abroad in exchange for that oil. It sells oil, it gets dollars, right? So if the exchange rate is, let's say, 85 rubles for $1 then for each $1 billion worth of oil exported, Russian budget gets 85 billion Russian rubles, exchanged accordingly. But at the rate of 100 rubles per $1, for the same amount of oil sold overseas, it gets $1 billion, but now, exchanged accordingly, it gets 100 billion rubles, which is much more than previously with a lower exchange rate. I think you get the idea. Russian government did the same trick, same currency exchange, they call it the maneuver. In the past, in times of economic crises, in 1998, in 2008, and in 2014. It devalued ruble, basically, to fill the budget. The extremely important thing here is to keep things under control. Because there's a risk if exchange rate starts getting out of control, the potential troubles and risks are enormous, okay? You can devalue ruble fast by creating extra demand for dollars. Let's say Russian Ministry of Finance or Russian Central Bank starts buying dollars, okay? They create artificial demand. So, but, and then the price of exchange rate of ruble goes down, ruble devalues. But you have tools at your hands to stabilize this situation and return to previous value when needed, if needed. And the tools for that is usually, the tool for that is, there are two major tools. First is the key interest rate that central bank sets, and the second is so-called currency interventions. Let's say the demand for dollar is high and Russian ruble is falling down, so then central bank starts selling its dollar reserves, flooding markets with dollars, therefore imbalances supply and demand, and ruble stops devaluing. Okay, so I hope I understand, I hope I explain it in simple words. Again, you cannot lose control here. The key point is to maintain control of the situation. It's extremely dangerous. You can disbalance your entire economy, okay, and you can create artificial crisis. And this is what happened now. One of the tools was used to strengthen the ruble. Once they devalued ruble a little bit, they tried to strengthen it. Russian central bank increased key interest rate, which is the tool commonly used by all central banks in the world, including the American central bank, the Federal Reserve. Yes, Federal Reserve is nothing else but the central bank. It's just called differently. So Russian central bank increased the key interest rate by 1% from 7.5% to 8.5%, which is quite large. Usually the increments are smaller, 0.25%, 0.5%. 1% is unusual, and it's a very, very strong move. But it didn't work. Russian ruble kept on devaluing. And it started increasing. No, it started devaluing increasingly, okay, faster and faster. And in August, it hit the rate of 102 Russian rubles for American dollar, which is pretty bad. High inflation looms, price jumps loom, and they're right around the corner. That's what happens. So, you see, that's what I say, it's really important to keep the balance, because you must control the situation. You don't want the ruble to devalue a lot, because you will get high inflation. Just a little bit to help you to fill the budget. So, and of course, if you were selling your goods a lot, then weaker ruble would be good for the exports, okay? Your products in the world and the world markets would be more competitive. But that doesn't work for Russia now, because it doesn't sell anything except for oil and gas. Well, doesn't sell gas anymore either. So anyway, central bank saw that its move does not work as planned, and it interfered again for the second time in 3 weeks, which just does not happen often at all. And the exchange rate, the key interest rate jumped from 8.5 to 12%, which is unheard anywhere, but, possible in Russia. Anything is possible in Russia. Anything goes. And, it's pretty strong move. It's like a nuclear explosion. It must stop the fire, so to speak, But guess what? Again, it did not help. Russian ruble gained a little bit of value and then lost it again immediately, within hours. This, to me, is a clear sign that the situation is getting out of control. Why? Because, remember, this is a situation of a perfect storm. There are so many economic factors that are making pressure on Russian economy, okay? And usually, the situation is much lighter. There's no perfect storm, okay? This is a uniquely strange situation in Russia happening. That's why you have to be so much more careful playing with the exchange rate, not to get things out of control. There are rumors that Russian central bank is going to increase the key interest rate again very soon, probably in September, to around 15%. Folks, this is unheard of, okay? Imagine you go to get a mortgage for a house and the banker says, oh, we'll give you at 19%. 19%, okay? If the key interest rate is 15, then from 17 to 19, that's mortgage rates. What does it do to construction industry? What does it do to hundreds of thousands of jobs? What does it do to loans outstanding that are to be repaid by developers that need to sell the real estate? Anyway, I'll get to that a little bit later. Now, 15% rumored, which is, it's much stranger than unusual, much stronger than unusual. And as I am speaking right now, Vladimir Putin has called up an emergency meeting, and he's involved himself into fixing this problem. It's not his job. He usually does not get involved. He gets reports from the head of Russia's central bank. He gets report from Ministry of Finances. They come up with a strategy, and perhaps he can approve or disapprove or correct or whatever, but he does not get involved to fix this by himself, okay? And it just shows you how important this issue has become for the Russian economy. What they're trying to do is they're trying to limit the capital flow. In other words, they're trying to increase the amount of dollars that are inflown into Russian economy. How? The companies that get payments from abroad in dollars, in euro, and other currency, right now the companies are free to decide what to do with their funds. The government wants to put stop to that, and it'll oblige the companies to sell the hard currency, which is dollar, euro, to the government upon receiving payments. Exchange it into the rubles. Okay, so the companies are left with rubles, and the government has the dollars. Okay, that is a very strong move. It happened once before in March of 2022, last year, when Russian economy was just, everyone was in panic and it was spiraling down. No one knew what was going on. It was like basically the weapon of last resort, so to speak. And it helped to stabilize Russian economy, but basically it's not free economy anymore. Okay, it's a hybrid between capitalism and socialism, communism. The government just gets its greasy hand into your pocket and grabs everything it can out of your pocket. Okay, so this is what they're discussing on doing, and most likely they will make a decision to oblige companies to sell its foreign currency in incoming payments. We will see very soon, most likely tomorrow. But my bet, this measure will be accepted, and it will be made an executive order. So by central bank, everyone must comply with that. So at current key interest rate, 12%, it has become very difficult for developers already to sell built real estate. Basically, it's a huge blow, huge crash of real estate market, entire country's real estate market. Who will get mortgages at 13, 15, 17%? There's already a crisis. It's been a crisis because Russians are increasingly becoming poorer and poorer, and they don't have money to buy new real estate, new apartments, new houses. And, there's a law of inertia because there are so many construction projects were started 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and now they're, finishing up. but there's no consumers to buy new real estate. So there's already a big crisis. And the government has been trying to help to kind of offset these problems by giving subsidizing mortgage rate, okay? But this is done. This is not going to happen anymore. So what I'm seeing next is huge problem with layoffs in the construction industry, huge problem with what's this word when defaults, bank loan defaults, because simply the developers will not have funds to make payments, monthly payments to the banks that had loaned them money. And that could be the trigger for the entire system crisis of Russian financial system, for Russian banks. Because, developers are very large in Russia, and the amount of loans issued to developers is huge. If they default, and most likely they will be defaulting at the same time, okay? That's going to be like a snowball, bringing down Russian banking system, Russian banks, to basically bankruptcy. Okay, that's what I've been telling before for a long time, saying that, hey, look, the wave of defaults, the wave of bankruptcies is coming up, and it's finally here. Okay, I think we will start seeing it, because there's no way around it. We will start seeing it around September. Okay, what else will happen very soon? $1 at 100 rubles. Inflation is already skyrocketing. Within 2 weeks, and you watch the news, within 2 weeks, we will see Russian prices everywhere for everything sold in Russia jump from 20 to 80% for everything, for food, for services provided, for cars, for I think the only thing that will be dropping in price is real estate, because people won't be able to sell it, so they'll be giving huge discounts. Okay, so again, inflation will further increase, and it'll be increasing more and more, and it's a vicious circle. Okay, what is the solution? Is there one? Of course, there is a solution. I'm going to give you the solution now. It is possible to stop. Is it probable? Very possible, but not very probable, for one simple reason. The solution lies in stopping the war. In order to fix economic problems in Russia, in order to stop this perfect storm, Russia must stop the war with Ukraine as soon as possible. It must make peace with Ukraine. It must come to an agreement of compensation to Ukraine. It's called reparations. It must cut expenses for the military-industrial complex, and basically it must cut expenses for everything. Okay, just like in household, when you are bankrupt, you go into a certain mode. You cut expenses to the very minimum, and you try to maximize your profits. So by making a peaceful agreement with Ukraine, by stopping the war, by stopping the bloodshed, Russia needs to come to senses with the Western countries, the buyers of Russian gas, European countries, which is going to be very, very difficult to do, okay? Because Russian gas has been replaced by the gas from Norway, by the gas from Kuwait and other countries, the United States, the liquid gas. But anyway, Russia will have to start making those steps. And step by step, very slowly, Russia can, at the speed of crawling, it can come out this incredibly bad economic situation. Only under condition that it's not isolated from the rest of the world. And to do that, Russia must prove that it's changed. How to change? By changing the leadership, the regime, by changing the gang, by changing the president, by changing all his friends, by serving everyone what they deserved. Okay? Is it possible? Yes, very much. Is it probable in the near future? We'll see. It's probably in the midterm, but not in the short term. So this is the solution. Russia will simply need to come to senses and will try to rebuild. And it must come from people, not from another strong man, not from another government, from the people. They must realize their fault, they must realize their power, and they must realize they must take the responsibility. This is my recipe. And right now, we are seeing a historic moment. The moment is happening right in front of our eyes. The Titanic is getting submerged. Okay, this is it. The play is over. Now the serious stuff. In just 2 short weeks, in 14 days, by September 1st, you will be hearing news from Russia about prices for everything jumping, and you will hear Russians complaining. That will be a sign of Russians waking up. Well, whether they wake up completely, I'm not sure, but at least many Russians won't be able to afford much anymore, and at least I hope they will start asking questions. What the fudge has happened? But, not much can be done in September. The inflation, the prices will rise. The inflation will increase. The government control will tighten. And what is to follow? Chaos. And we're going to be seeing quite a bit of it towards the end of the year and beginning of 2024. And this, my friends, has been my message for today. Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance to deliver my thoughts. Thank you. I would like to invite you to carry on into a live stream chat, and I'd like to converse and answer your questions if you have any. And before that, while I am turning the live stream chat on, I'd like to, as usual, ask you for a couple favors. Would you please help me to spread my message by making reposts of this message in your social media accounts? And like, if you hit the like button if you liked what you just heard, and subscribe to the channel not to miss further updates. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee, I wouldn't mind. I like that. I drink coffee and tea every single day. So thank you very much in advance. The live stream chat is on for everyone. Before it was just for the mods. Thank you so very much again. We have 5,100 people watching right now, which is a fantastic number. I am very honored that you have, allocated your time to come and see me. Thank you. If you're here for the first time, you're new to Inside Russia channel, I would like you to know that this channel has the best moderation team in the world. I guarantee you that. Lorna, Mammy K, Bob S., Harry Potnan, Blackhead, and Prince Amir Fazad are the best mods, hands down. Thank you guys for coming back again and watching my back. And this is the best community on internet. The usual suspects, thank you for coming. Thank you for supporting, and thank you for being here. If you want my message, if you want me to see your message and answer your question, would you please put it in caps so it can be seen easy, and put inside Russia after @ so it appears highlighted in a large orange box. Thank you so very much. Again, friends, hello, and let me know what you think of my message today, if you liked it. Eileen, thank you so much. So interesting today. I wish Russians would stop denying what's happening and stop putting their heads in the sand. I won't feel sorry for them when reality will finally hit. Thank you. Eileen, it's not a question, but I'd like to talk about it. I actually have lost feeling sorry for the Russians because I've been telling people over and over and over again, what's going on? How do you feel about this exchange rate thing? You know, how do you feel about ruble devaluing? None cares. None. I was absolutely shocked. They say, well, we don't care. You know, we just getting paid in rubles and we spend rubles. So we don't care about dollar. I'm repeating this. It looks like someone has put spell on the Russian people because they don't understand that it's not, the trouble's not gonna come next year. It's not gonna come in 2 months. It's gonna come in 2 weeks. It's around the corner, you see. And I don't know. My bet that this is compared to the worst crisis Russia has seen since 1991, which was 1998. Okay, the Russian ruble devalued by 400% overnight. Okay, because Russian government defaulted its bonds, basically Russian government bonds, so they're not gonna pay back. What's happening right now is of that magnitude, but Russian people simply don't understand. So Eileen, I don't feel sorry for them. You gotta have your head is not to eat with it. Your head is to think, okay? And if you completely abandon your just thinking about things, about your life, about what's happening around you, that's your fault. When you go to a store and you can't afford food and feed your family, kids, wife, you know, you should have thought. Oh, sorry for venting. Crusader Damien, the best questions come from you. Welcome back. It seems that Elvira Nabiulina is being set up as the scapegoat by the propagandists. Can that save Putin for a bit longer? Propagandists, they have no power over Nabiulina. The only person who can set her up as a scapegoat is Vladimir Putin himself. She is number 2 in a hierarchy of Russian financial management, okay? Above her, only Putin. She's untouchable, but she doesn't care about this. This people, I don't even know what to say. They're just, they can scream and shout anything they want to, okay? No one listens to them. Can that save Putin is a bit longer? Saving Putin longer is this entire process. It involves the war, the victories or the losses in the front lines. It includes the well-being of economy. Includes the relationship with China, with India, with the United States. This is a very complicated process. And central exchange rate is just one part of it, okay? But important, but just one part. So it's like a chess game, okay? And exchange rate, devaluing Russian ruble is just one, like a pawn, you know, one figure on the chessboard. Jason Carney, thank you so much for this huge support. I appreciate it very much. Again, my wife is sleeping right now. Unfortunately, she can't be in the streams, but that's from both of us, from me and her. Thank you so much. You're the champion of supporting the channel. I wish I could have some kind of I don't know, like a board. I would put your name in there permanently. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for gifting sponsorship to 5 and 5, 10 people. Thank you so much. Hello, Krister Patterson from Sweden. Howdy. Frank in Texas. Caesars. Carano. The usual suspects. Tom W. Howdy, howdy. Sidewalk Astronomy Netherlands. Wouldn't be better if they'd rename the ruble into Kopek? Then they would have to rename Kopek into something else. Steven Lindholm, howdy, long time no see. Sam K, thank you so much. You are the legend. Thank you. Susie Mailer, see videos of soldiers not getting paid. What will happen when this continues or gets worse? Will the soldiers stop fighting? Susie, yesterday in the stream, I was giving crazy news update. And one of the crazy news was that Russian cities and towns go to market to borrow money from private investors. That had never happened before, okay? And it shows that the federal government does not transfer money to cities to pay for utilities, for road maintenance and things like that, for cleaning the streets. The government simply does not have money. It's taken all the money that's supposed to go to other, causes, and it's thrown it to the military-industrial complex to build more missiles, to build more weapons, to kill more Ukrainians. That's what they're doing. So you're absolutely right. I have seen the videos of soldiers not getting paid. I think they are occasional cases right now, but they're going to become mass cases, okay? And when this will become, what will soldiers do? Let's think about it. First, I think they will get so desperate in the front lines, they will start drinking heavily to somehow to get away from this reality. They either, after that, they'll get killed while drunk by the Ukrainians, or they will sober up and they will just not fight anymore. I think that's what's going to happen. Brian Struvig, thank you so much from South Africa. Thank you so much. Sending my love to South Africa and to you. Crusader Damien, another question. Aren't the propagandists given instructions from Putin and the Kremlin directly? That's how we understand it from reputable sources. Is this wrong? Please do not quote me on that, because I am not 100% sure, and I admit that. My understanding that the propaganda people are not given instructions from the Putin directly, but rather there is the head of chief of staff, of Vladimir Putin, and he is responsible. There are two people responsible for propaganda. They both, one is the deputies of first and second deputies of chief of staff of presidential administration. I don't know how their responsibilities are split, but they're both responsible for propaganda, and it's from them the directions come to all these people, to the editors and to the star propaganda. How do I say it nicely and softly? Bastards. So this is what I think. The directions do not come from Putin. I think Putin just kind of gets reports and proposals from his people and either approves them or disapproves them or changes them. I think this is how he's involved. I don't think he's involved into propaganda work so deeply. So the Kremlin, of course, yes, that's the Kremlin's work, but not Putin himself. Although I think he approves. Carlson Larrymore, thank you so much. My comparison to Titanic, scene with violinists, government playing to keep calm, and people calmly loading boats half full. I don't think... No. I remember that scene very well. I think it's a little different for me, at least. Look, I think it goes like this. Titanic is angled, okay? And people, the very same people who used to take walk back and forth on the deck, on high deck or lower deck, I don't know, they still keep on walking. They have harder time because this angle, so they go up and down, but they keep on walking. And then someone comes to them, says, "What the hell are you doing? Look, this ship is going down." They look at him and goes, "He's panicking. Stop your panic. You're a panicker. You know, those security, take him away. Throw him overboard. You know, he's panicking. He's a traitor. He's he's against the captain's ship's captain, you know, something like that." So this is what kind of picture I have in my eyes. So thank you for your question. Janice Burgess, I just checked. Exchange rate today is 94.5 ruble for $1. How long do you see this holding on? It depends on what measures they're going to do, because what happened 2 days ago when they increased key interest rate from 8.5% to 12%, it didn't work. On the news, the dollar, the exchange rate fell to, I think, 96 or 97, but then shot to 99.5. And now Putin is using heavy artillery, so to speak, you know, heavy tools. He's discussing, as we're speaking right now, he's discussing with whoever, you know, head of central bank, what to do. And this is why the ruble dropped down. It depends on what kind of measures they come out tomorrow. But this exchange rate will not stay for a long time. It will continue to climb up regardless. Thank you so much. Excellent question. New sponsor, Ivor Warp. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Inside Russia. And Micah has just gifted sponsorship to 10 people. Thank you so much from me and from 10 people. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Greg Sylvia, thank you for your support. You're number one. Thank you. Fantastic to have you at Inside Russia. I don't remember reading messages from you and reading super chats from you. So thank you. And Nicole Lauren, thank you from Canada. Thank you so much. It's a huge support. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Ann Larson, hello. Aaronka, Angela McNaught, Jeffrey Yoshikawa, thank you so much for super chat. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. No message, but this message is heard and appreciated. Nikolai SH, have you heard of the digital ruble? Of course I have. It's any thoughts? How do I say that? What are my thoughts? Digital ruble has been introduced for our convenience, of course, for safety, of course, you know, the safety and convenience of Russian citizens. Don't they all do that for safety? I kind of like hard cash in my pocket. The only way they can take it away from me is when they actually forcefully take it away. That's going to be a fight. But if I have digital ruble in my bank account, on the special central bank account, that becomes so much easier to say, hey, Konstantin, we suspect that you're doing illegal activity. Therefore, we freeze your account temporarily, for your own safety, of course, strictly temporarily, according to this federal law number such and such, and the law can allow us to keep your assets frozen, digital rubles frozen for 60 days. But folks, what do? I gotta, feed my family. We don't know. Everything's legal. And, everything is legal. So this is what I think of a digital ruble. It's not a tool of control. They're getting Russians under complete and total control. That's crazy. Friss, Jason Connor here. Thank you so much. My brain surgery is September 13th. Wish me luck. Not only I wish you luck, I think that deserves a prayer. Jason, luck is not enough. You need support. Hang on. By the way, brain surgery is, the surgery can be done and person can recover fairly easily. A member of Tashkent Breakfast Club had a brain surgery in Turkey. She flew to have it done in Turkey, and she's fine. She's recovered. She's, driving car and everything. So, we'll be praying. Greg, Sylvia, thank you again. Thank you. Second super chat. I appreciate it very much. Jamie BMac, thank you. If the Russian economy completely crashes, could we see much civil disobedience? Yes, there will be civil disobedience. I'm frustrated by Russians, but I hope they will come to their senses someday. Good will prevail. This is what you wrote is actually quite deep. I am just like you. I'm also very frustrated by the Russians. And I also hope they will come to their senses someday. I don't know why this war is happening. I don't know why people die every day in Ukraine and in Russia for that matter. Okay, because a lot of Russians die too for nothing. But perhaps there's a bigger purpose for the both countries to be reborn. Again, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking aloud, okay? And I certainly hope that it's just, even if that's the case, like, what about those people who were killed and died? They cannot be brought back, That's such a tragedy. I don't understand. I'm confused, but I keep thinking about that. Steven, thank you again. Do you see Ruble having trouble like 30s German mark? Good to see you doing fairly well. Thank you so much. Who knows? Who knows? From what I've read from Eric Maria Remark, that inflation was absolutely insane. In Russia, we did see inflation, but every single month, prices doubled. It was nothing like Germany in the 30s. I don't know. I doubt they will be as bad, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty darn bad, and we're going to see the beginning of this bad very soon, in a few days. KG1, thank you so much. How good is grain harvest this year? Honestly, I don't know. Perhaps used as bargaining tool by Putin. You know what? My uncle has a farm. I did a video on that farm in the southern Russia, and he does grow wheat mostly. So I'm gonna ask him. So at this point, I don't know of the harvest. Eva Leist, thank you so much. Friend of mine had a tumor taken out from her brain. When I went to see her, she walked the corridor happily after just a few days. Same, thank you so much for encouraging Jason Connor. Same thing happened to my friend, Natasha's friend, actually, our both friend. She's fine, she gets tired easily, but it's gonna take about 9 months to recover completely, and the doctors give like 90+% chances of complete recovery. So, that's definitely the main thing, is to catch that in time to do the surgery, not to lose any time, not to waste any time. I think I missed a couple super chats. Let me just go back and check it out. We have a new sponsor, 2 minutes to midnight. Welcome back to Inside Russia. Julie W., fantastic to see you here. You are such a great member of the community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. K. Paul, thank you everyone for the prayers. Well, we will keep on praying. Odem, hi Constantine, best wishes from Ireland. Thank you so much. I appreciate sending my love from Tashkent to you and to your country. Julie W., thank you for gifting a sponsorship to one person. Thank you so much. And I think this is it. I'm caught up. Frizz, glad to have you back. Thank you so much. Camden, Mike Andrews, the Titanic analogy is priceless. Mount Edgecombe, Durban. Brian, it's fantastic. South Africa is one place I'd like to visit. Sounds wonderful. Alex, have you tried Tetley tea? Think it would suit your tastes? No, I've never even heard of it. Tetley. Palvier Flex, a fallen ruble, how would that influence the coming election in March of 2024? It's either going to destroy the election, it destroys everything, it destroys current political system and regime, or if it doesn't, it will not have any effect, because, well, the rumors have it that Russian elections are, how do I say that? A little virtual. Rastislav Galia, thank you so much. Thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate it very much. This feedback like that it keeps me going. When you say that you enjoyed the information, I work so hard, sitting there, researching, doing thinking, laying out messages and things like that. And thank you. Timo, what is the inflation rate today? Truly, official statistics claim 4.3%. That's bogus. That's crap. Okay, I can tell you that I do not believe this 4.3% crap. I don't know what the real inflation is. It's really hard to say right now, but the prices are going up like crazy. Always a good stream from Inside Russia. Thank you so much. Seahawk 804. Thank you. Gary Scott, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. You can count on me showing up every day and keep on doing what I've been doing. Thank you so much. Toro, Montana, Russian Federation must break up. Oh, that's a very tough question. I don't have an answer. Is it possible? Is this possible? Very possible. Probable. Probably also probable. No pun intended. But it's going to be a tragedy for so many people. Yeah, Crusader Damien, thank you. It's exactly what I meant. Peskov has already stated that the Putin won the 2024 election with 90% of the eligible vote. Yeah, he's invented time machine. Exactly. I mean, what can happen to possibly divert Putin from winning election if he has such a great political advisor and forecaster as Dmitry Peskov? He's so sure that Putin has already won with 90% approval vote. What do you think will be the final tipping point for Putin? Robert Harris. What I'm really hoping now is that he doesn't do anything stupid. The chances are that he will. He will try to create a big problem for Russia, and I'm afraid to say that, but I think it's going to be connected with nuclear plants in Russia. A nuclear plant, perhaps two nuclear plants, one in Russia, one in Zaporizhia, that Russia controls in Ukraine. If he doesn't do anything stupid, that things will come to an end soon, okay? If he does, who knows what's going to happen. Johannesburg, not good. South Africa, power outages scheduled every day. Guy I knew, they're finally moved to Poland. Interesting. The highwaymen, the factories and production facilities that left Russia, was that for the Russian market, or will they relocate somewhere outside Russia? If so, where? Eastern European Union. The highwaymen, unfortunately, most companies that had manufacturing plants in Russia, they either lost their assets or they sold them on pennies to dollar. This is a shame because, people invested their money to come to Russia saying, hey, we're going to build plants, and the manufacturing is the driver for economy. We're going to create so many jobs in Russia. We're going to teach the Russians all we know, how to operate equipment, how we're going to teach them management techniques. We're going to teach them values that we have. And they've been doing it for years and years. And Russians just basically stole everything from them. So this is shame. This is just not good. What happens is, I'll give you a good example. A French car manufacturer called Renault, very big famous company. There was Alliance, Nissan, and Renault. So Renault had a huge manufacturing plant, actually former Moskvich plant. It had rebuilt the plant. It invested so much money, and it was forced to leave overnight. So basically, it sold everything that it owned, worth 4.3 billion euros, over $5 billion, for $1 or 1 ruble to Moscow government. and it left. And it destroyed all the software from the equipment. And this plant is standing there idling because Russians don't know what to do with it. Cutting edge technology, cutting edge, this robots, but they're dead. They're like bricks because there's no software. So a lot of cases like that, and a lot of cases like Russians are, the foreigners leave Russia, they sell their assets for cheap, and what happens next is Russians don't know how to operate them. They can't keep good quality of the products. They can't keep making things because, hey, you got to be advanced. You got to know what you do. And Russians just buy it and try to reinvent the wheel. Well, good luck. And that's most plants are having troubles right now. I mean, look at the company that bought McDonald's. Вкусная точка, tasty period. They're not near close to where McDonald's was. Not as clean, not as... No. And then same goes for other plants, for other, manufacturers, for everything. Russians simply cannot maintain. Well, very few companies can. I shouldn't say all can't. Very few can. But there are majority that just cannot do the same thing that the foreigners, the Westerners did. So, in those companies, they basically bit the bullet. That's all. Hey, Charlie B from Pacific Beach. Howdy. Thank you so much. Yes, I am back. Selling their assets for cheap. Getting wired now. Guy L. What do you mean getting weird now? I don't quite understand. Well, Renault sold a manufacturing plant worth $4.3 billion, euros, not dollars, for 1 ruble. I think it was 1 ruble. So you decide whether it's cheap or not. Matt W., howdy. What are your thoughts about the Russian government seizing Carlsberg? Same thing. I just talked about it. Shame. It's a shame. These people at Carlsberg woke up and realized they lost the control of the plant. It still belongs to them, but there's a different general director. They're not let into their factory, and they don't make any decisions. They cannot change anything. They don't make any profits. So it's mafia, it's thieves, basically, got inside, seized control, and operating, manufacturing beer or something else. It's thieves. No good thieves. That's all I have to say. Miriam Ward from New Zealand, thank you so much for your support. Does Russia have a social welfare benefit for solo mothers? It does, but very tiny, minuscule. Jason Carney, thank you so much again for 5 more sponsorships for the gift. Thank you. And Nation Demon, also thank you so much for gifting 5 people sponsorship. Caesars, howdy, great to see you. Any prediction for upcoming December, January about economic and life in Russia? That's too a general question. Prices will be up, that's for sure. I can tell you, I guarantee you that. That's in 2 weeks. Russians will start feeling it. Perhaps even sooner than that. I will be monitoring every single day. I'll be calling Russia, people I know that are left in Russia, I think that Putin's going to be out of the office by the end of the year. What's going to happen after? I don't know. But turmoil is coming. Chaos is coming. Possibly resistance in different governor. Provinces. And then provinces coming. Things are getting... Imagine that you are driving in a car. Okay, that's another analogy for you, Caesars, and for all of you. Imagine that you're driving in a car. Imagine that you're driving a Mercedes. Mercedes is a sweet car to drive. And everything works fine. It's a German car, the best of the best. And you're just enjoying the ride. And all of a sudden, well, imagine you have 100,000 miles on it, and you never maintained. You didn't change oil. You didn't take care of struts, shocks. It didn't do anything. Didn't change. It didn't even check oil. Okay, so your engine is running empty, and all of a sudden you start having troubles with it. Your steering wheel starts, vibrating. One of the tires is deflated. Engine makes very strange noises and vibrates more and more, okay? All of a sudden you see smoke coming from under the hood. All of a sudden, one of the windows, something happens to electronics and it starts rolling up and down without you having been able to control it. Basically, your car starts falling apart as you drive, and it falls apart more and more. And this is what's happening to Russia. That's an analogy I have. Your Mercedes is still flying 60 or 70 miles down the road because you've been driving it, but it starts falling apart, okay? And this is what is happening with Russia. Time is up, says Nightbot. Okay, I see. Thank you so much. Just 2 questions. Paul Theory, howdy, good nabend. Do you see a return of the worry? Yes, very much. I see the return of the mafia, and where mafia is, worry, they will return. Koshkin Dom, I don't know. We will see that. I think he will leave the office, but how? Well, I have my popcorn. Amir, I'm not a magician. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think that we will see the start of this change very soon. Great Southern Land, how long will we see printing presses turn up? They're up already. Okay, they're printing right now. The inflation is up. Trust me, they're filling up the budget. Nation Demon, thank you so much for 5 more gifts. Thank you so much. And from Finland with love. I love the name, by the way. Thank you for your support. Question, sorry if it sounds offensive. From a Finnish point of view, Russia and the Soviet has been a messed up society. But do you agree? And what time do you think has been the best time of your country? It's not an offensive question because for one simple reason, mods, this is the last question I'm going to take and we'll pray. You see, I was born and raised in Russia and I had nothing to compare with. And I figured that I lived I didn't like communism, but I liked the country, I liked people, I liked my neighbors, my family, that type of stuff. And I never got a feeling that we're messed up as a society. I felt like communism was messed up. I felt it was absolutely wrong and mistreated people. And then I got to America and my world opened up, okay? Then I came back to Russia and Russia was okay. And this is when I think the best years of my country were, from 2000 to 2008, 2009, or perhaps even 2011. I was having a ball. Okay, I enjoyed living in Russia so much back then. The government was relatively weak. There were problems, but they were not big enough to be of a concern. We were all making fabulous money, and it was a good time. Okay, but now I see what you Finnish people see. I see that it's been a messed up society. Yes, hurts. Does it hurt me? Yes, it does, because I am a part of that society. I was born in 1976. I grew up, but what can I do? I admit, I take my responsibility, and I hurt, and that's pretty much it. But yes, it has been a messed up society, and somehow people were sleeping for 30 years, and now they're like monsters inside of them were sleeping. I thought the monsters were gone. I thought that the KGB people changed, police changed, this old Soviet bonzas changed, No, they didn't change. They were sleeping. They were hiding somewhere down below, and now they are so happy to get out, and it's messed up more than ever before. So, this is my honest answer. Thank you so much. My friends, Don, it was a very sad question, last one, Yeah, let's pray. Asking everyone to join me in prayer. If you're religious, please join me. If you're a Christian, please join me to pray to our Lord Jesus Christ. If you are religious but of different religion, please join me to pray to the Almighty. And if you're not religious, please join me to send good wishes, good vibes, and good energy to other people. Thank you. Let's do it. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads, surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Thank you for giving smiles, putting smiles on our faces. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and clean. Give us wisdom to raise our children the way that when they become adult, they will make this place a better world and will never participate in any wars. Meanwhile, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. The country has suffered so much. It needs peace. People need break. People need peace. Please send help to every single Ukrainian. Send recovery. Soothe their souls, please. Send forgiveness. Send an angel to every single person in Ukraine so the angels keep people away from harm's way and answer their prayers, make their wishes come true, please. Dear Lord, reach out those who are responsible and capable of making the decision to stop the bloodshed, and reach out and give kick in their butts, a very strong one, so they wake up and they will make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help my country, Russia, assemble the strongest army you have ever assembled in heaven and send it like avalanche down to earth. The army that consists of the strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael in shining armor. So they come down like a heavenly avalanche and get rid of all the demons that have hijacked my country. Have angels run Russia. Make it loved, loving, respected, respectful, and peaceful, please. Help those who are traveling. Send them safe travels. help those who are seeking asylum, especially with families. Help those and bless those who are helping Ukrainians by opening their hearts, wallets, homes, doors, that send prayers to Ukrainians and keep praying for them. Please help people of Maui, Hawaii, who have been affected by the terrible tragedy. Please help all the single mothers who are struggling, raising their kids and struggling, trying to make the ends meet. Please help all the hungry, the sick, the depressed, the homeless, the jobless, the ones struggling with their faith, the ones not feeling well about themselves. Shine your light, heavenly light upon them, and surround them with your warmth of your love, so these people will feel better and they will feel stronger. They will feel more powerful, more energetic to stand up and change their lives for the better and be happy again. Please help everyone who needs help. Thank you for allowing us to come together into this community and form this community and stay in this community and pray together. Please help everyone who's praying along with me or simply watching us pray. Help those too. Please answer people's prayers and make everyone's wish come true. I would like to ask you to help some people. They are Jason Connor. His brain surgery is coming up on September 13th. Please send your angels to watch over him and help the surgeons who will be performing the surgery for him. And so he's going to be all right. He will come back strong and healthy. Please help little girl Sarah. Send angels so they will help her recovery. Give her strength. Stay with her. And send strength to her parents who keep praying for her day and night. Please bring recovery, peace and happiness and good health to that family. And please help Sarah. Also, please help Frank in Texas, Kay Paul, who's suffering from Lyme disease, Nina, Julie W., Janine, Eugene and Lindsay's daughter, Linda Trombley, Margaret, Sarah Stokes, China Bill, James Gentz, Julia Haney, Yorkie Mom, Hannah, James family, Nathan, Susie Mailer, Vasilin Lubamirov, Jeffrey S. Please help with recovery after his knee surgery. Dave, tired, needs sleep. Please help with insomnia. Heather, brother of Gloria Roberts, Greg and Jim and Shirley Hall, Ann Larson, her family and daughter Hannah, Florentina, Max family, Patty L, Sherry Morin, CKOC, Brian Wilkes, Amir's uncle Dicky, Liz Dumbrell and her family, Ripted, daughter of Aspen English, Alona and her boys, Darla, Bib, Susan, Paul, White Lightning, Paula McDonald, Ivan Gershkovich, George Ruberty, Dave Strains, Pam, Frank in Texas, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Svetlana, Karen, Janine, Michael Milkowitz, Marlene, Paul Beans, Richard, Mallory M, Dirk, Linda, Terry, Lars Henrik and his mother, Brittany S., Richard Burris, Angelic at Life, and Scan Family's grandson, Barb, Randolph, Harry's family, Verlinda's niece, Michelle, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Lisa's son, Jade, Kaltenberg, Brittany S., Larry, Allison Dave Moyers, Maureen M. and her sister, Mr. Hanson, Matt, Tony, Ashley and family, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Lisa Kumrian, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Grace Philosophy, please send good health and shine her light, your light upon her wonderful family and granddaughters. Sergey and Vladislav, Gina Wayfarer, MS paramedic Liz, Lori Miles' husband Sherry, Layla, Philip's mother, Wayne, Shirley and Debbie, Jen Ellen, Finola, the Highwayman, Essie from the Scottish Isles, Outlander and family, Chorizin family, David Porter and family, and everyone in Chernovtsi, Ukraine. Lars, Susan Marshall, Beulah, Lazarus, Boss Simon, Alvin, Alvin's sister, Teresa D, Joy and Lee McMahon, Terry Carter, Meta Spencer, Deanna F. and family, Bree's friend, Taylor Fleming, Albina Fell, Michael Yukon, Joel Life, Karine Vasseur, Pamela J. and Lindsay. Dear Lord, please help special children. They are Cadence, Maverick, Eva, Theo, Muddy, Sebastian, Coulter, Ansley, and Karine Vasseur's niece. Also, please help all the children from Ukraine who have been misplaced, who are in trouble. Please send your angels to help them, all of them. Please help everyone who has been affected by this terrible tragedy. Please help all the children who are not feeling well. Send them recovery. Send their parents strength, please. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. My friends, thank you very much for coming. This is my honor for you to come and give me a chance to speak, to listen to me, and watch me speak. Thank you. You're absolutely awesome and you rock. This community is one of the best things I have in my life currently, along with my family and my friends. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. And please, tomorrow there will be a message about the mobilization, my analysis in the latest news, and some forecast. So please come back tomorrow. There'll be an interesting message. And before I sign off today, as usual, I ask everyone to say out loud along with me the following. Carthago delenda est.